Good afternoon. I am Nehal doing my PGDM from Myra School of Business. Today we have Dr. Radha Radhakrishna with us, a Managing Director, FAB Partners, USA, and also a visiting faculty at Myra School of Business. Hello, sir.
Thank you.
Shall we start the interview?
Yes.
You've been coming down to Myra since its inception. Can you tell me what excites you to come to Myra School of Business?
Yes, you're right. I've been coming since inception, and I think particularly the first batch was very exciting to teach because it was new to everybody, new to them, new to the faculty, new to the staff. So it's like a startup atmosphere, which is very exciting. But now, of course, I've been coming year after year after year, and I think what really excites me about coming here is that I like to be able to meet young people in India and to teach them and see if I can do something for them. So this is my way of trying to give back to India.
Okay. So share some of your teaching experiences of other B schools and how is it similar or different from the teaching experience over here?
Well, usually when I teach in the US, I'm teaching much older people because I'm teaching executive MBA programs. These are people who have many years of experience. Very motivated as a result. When I teach in Myra, students in Myra are significantly younger. A lot of them had no work experience. They come straight from their undergrad, which is very common in India because it's not so common in the US. People usually work for a while before they come and do their MBA. But in India, I think it's very common for people to finish school and then do MBA. And so so that's different. It also presents a challenge because a course like an MBA, we're talking about what's happening in business, and if the student has had no exposure to business because they've only been in school all along, then it presents a different kind of challenge. And so that's what's different. So you have to be prepared to be able to face that when you teach a class like mine.
Can you elaborate a little on the course you teach here, that is Advanced Valuation and Fundamental Analysis?
I think that's a great course in terms of the fact that it combines theory and practice. So you learn things in accounting, you learn things in corporate finance, and how do you put those two together with what's happening in the real world to come up with ideas of how to manage businesses and to do valuations. And I think it's also a course that I particularly enjoy because it takes advantage of my strengths, which is that I've spent time both in academia and in the world of finance. And so I'm able to bring both elements to this class. And so I think that's what's
Even we
unique.
enjoy doing the classes. We actually enjoy doing it on Excel. It's really good.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, so you were a member in Financial Markets Education team in UBS Investment Bank, and you were the one who set up that UBS Academy. Tell us something about that.
Well, UBS Investment Bank was a little different actually, quite unique among investment banks, is that they decided that they wanted, all the banks have an education function, but what UBS decided was to set up a much larger education function which addressed all different aspects of the investment bank. So they actually trained traders on how to do the trading. They trained corporate people in investment banking and also stuff for the research groups. And what happened over time is as we developed these modules to get our own staff to be able to do a better job, we found that it is also an attractive way of attracting customers. Our customers were very interested in taking these courses. And so we were able to then take these out to our customers, and the academy, in just being just a cost center, also became a revenue center because we could now get money from our clients for doing these programs. And so that was actually very interesting and very exciting to be part of at that time.
Okay. So at the end, would you like to advise something to students who are aspiring a profession in finance?
Finance, I think if you want to be good in finance, you have to be fairly good in accounting. You must have good solid knowledge of accounting, of how the financials are prepared. And then we have to also understand the world of finance, or the different instruments and how they're being used and why they are being used. It's a very important function because it's a function that takes care of the funding requirements of the business. You may not be directly involved in how you run the company, in the sense on the operational side of the company, and in terms of the products or services and how they are marketed and delivered. But without the funding aspect, none of these things, objectives can be achieved. And so it's a very important function. This is a function that goes and meets with shareholders and outside people, tries to raise the money for the company. And so they have to be aware of what's happening in the company so they can sell the company and then make sure that they get the best funding possible. So if you're preparing for a career in finance, you can't just limit yourself because you realize that you're an important part of the overall scheme of things. And so you have to understand what your company does, the product, so that you're able to sell the idea. But you also should be able to put it in numbers because that's a principal part of your job, that you can go and take it out to other people and explain what's going on. And that's really
So
what
adding on to that, here in my lab there are students who are fresh graduates.
Yes.
So will they get this kind of job in finance the way you did, or something lower than that?
Well, a lot of people are fairly new when they finish, and so they've got to start learning once they go into an organization. So they have to find an organization that will take them on as interns, and then in that case you can definitely have a career in finance. You can't hope to join middle management, but you have to start as an intern.
Interns.
And that's pretty common everywhere in the world. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.